All right, y'all, we're taking a look at this Boudoir photography business. We're going to see if it has BSS for its local search, Naperville, Iowa, or for its city search, Naperville, Illinois, and its city search, Chicago, Illinois. So we're back here in the GBC universe. We're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, pinned post, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. You can see FSIC in white, our graph here. Over to the left, we got the highest intent peeps. These are the peeps searching for, boudoir photo shoot in their city right now, today. And they're searching social search and Google search. So we focus on these peeps in our videos here about BSS. Peeps are closest to the money, highest converting peeps. Over on the right, we got the lowest intent peeps. We talk about those at our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. We talk about BLCS, reaching those lowest intent peeps. And currently we're only working with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. Now BSS, boudoir search sameness. That's when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 slots, our business is basically dead because we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. 80% of Google searches are page 1 and done searches. So that is, approximately 80% of the market. That's basically the bulk of the market, basically everyone, basically all buyers. And so 0 is no bueno. 1 slot in page 1 Google is also no bueno because that actually means we're literally looking the same as everyone else because there's 10 slots page 1 on Google. There's literally going to be 9 other peeps with 1 slot page 1 on Google. And as a result, we're blending in. We're basically invisible. We're looking the same. What the boudoir buyer going to do? They're going to click through every. They're literally going to click through every person on page 1, open their website, submit a contact form, get a quote, price shop, negotiate, and kills all the margins, decreases the probability that they buy at any boudoir photographer makes any profit at all if they even get that client. So 1 slot, no bueno either. Now 0-1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It is the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Market saturation, basically everyone knows this. Over time people get new iPhones, new cameras. It's kind of naturally there, they throw up the Google My Business profile saying they now offer boudoir. Throw up their website saying they do boudoir photography. They throw up their well, they're also then posting the mom Facebook group saying they do boudoir photo shoots. This kind of naturally happens over time. Big flood happened during COVID. Lots of people lost their jobs. Still had to earn money though. Everyone's got a super powered smartphone with super camera. So pretty natural for people to become tons of new peeps to become boudoir photographers in that time. Now the false belief of page 1 equality, not many people know about this one. This is where kind of boudoir photographers have always kind of assumed and accepted that every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google. But this is actually not correct. What actually is true is that Google will give us as many page 1 slots on as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search in only 10 days using our new methodology we developed. So I know just kind of accepting wherever Google places, our website, it's incorrect. Maybe we're on slot 7, page 1, some market saturation happened, then we're on, slot 1, page 2. Boudoir photographers naturally would be like, well, I hope someone deletes their website on page 1 so I can actually get back on there and hopefully Google re-ranks me there. But no, now we know we can actually take as many page 1 slots as we want. Next, a boudoir photographer with BSS boudoir search sameness is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. And disappearing because, their business they got 0 slots page 1, so they're on page 2 or deeper. Yeah, they're disappearing because they're already invisible to approximately 80% of the market. If they got only one slot page one on Google, yeah, they're still basically invisible. They're being price shopped to death. They're dying. They're still dying a slower death than zero slots. But in both cases, it's kind of like the warning light, kind of like the red flag, the canary in the coal mine telling us that our boudoir photography business itself is now on the path to disappearing. But thankfully, we now have a solution. We've discovered that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka SQ methodology. We know this because we invented it. And it works exactly as it says, social search saturation. We're saturating social search, the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, making sure we show up there. Doing this is kind of like putting snow at the top of the Andes Mountains down in South America, down on the backside, the eastern side of those mountains. When that snow melts, what happens is it forms into small streams, small rivers, and then it all flows into the large Amazon River. And that large Amazon River is page one of Google. But it all starts with actually getting the snow to the top of the mountain, and that is SQ methodology, social search saturation. And what's special about this is it's the only solution I've seen for boudoir photographers that actually can enable their business to still grow even in the face of massive market saturation, and gives them that opportunity in a relatively quick time frame. The only other option I've seen that offers a similar benefit is having a large, well-known brand. But dude, that takes 5 to 10 years to acquire. We ain't got 5 to 10 years. AI is here, it's taking people's jobs. Gonna be a flood of boudoir photographers coming into the market, and we're deciding to prepare ourselves now. And by my estimates, SQ methodology can actually help build a large, well-known brand in a city approximately 8x faster than normal methods. It's because we're showing up on so many more surfaces, so much more frequently. That's kind of a byproduct. And then imagine you've got the large, well-known brand, and you continue to use SQ methodology. I mean, you're basically unbeatable at that point. So an example right now, we are now going to, let's see, I've decided I want to go to, oh, there we go, Topeka, Kansas. So we're in Topeka, Kansas. There are 1 million boudoir photographers. We are one of them. Everyone's got their website saying they shoot boudoir photography. So it's ultra competitive. Get page one on Google. So we're not invisible, so we're not disappearing. And as a result, and we don't have a large, well-known brand. Literally, the only chance for us to compete was we now have a solution for SQ methodology. So like, all right, we're going to take this technology, we're going to crank it to the max. And let's say we take up the first 300 slots on social search across all the surfaces for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in our city. As a result, that flows down the mountain into the Amazon River, that flows down onto page one Google search. And when that happens, we are actually taking those first 300 slots page one Google search. Let's say we got that as well. So basically anywhere any boudoir buyer searches, we're ranking for all those keywords across all these surfaces, and we're basically the only boudoir photographer our buyers can find. They essentially can't even find our competitors. They basically got page 31 because we're taking up the first 30 pages on Google. I mean, who's going to page 31? Nobody. So in this scenario, whose boudoir photography business is growing? Most likely ours. Whose boudoir photography business is declining, disappearing, going poof? Basically the other 999,999 other boudoir photographers. And this is an ultra extreme example of what the SQ methodology could enable. Actually taking it to the max, kind of ultra max version of it. Next, once treated with SQ methodology, we now have page one visibility, P1V. And so obviously we get the initial benefits, more slots page one on Google. We also get this new second initial benefit, which a lot of boudoir photographers like the best. It's every new slot we get on page one on Google, we are actually kicking our competing boudoir photographers off page one, put them on page two or deeper, effectively making them invisible. Because remember, approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page two. They're page one and done searches. So a lot of boudoir photographers like this initial benefit as well. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So we have the GBC universe recommends a Minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search. That's because if everyone else has 1 slot each and we got 3 slots, well, we're dominating them. And if the ultra rare chance someone has 2 slots, we still got 3 slots, we're still dominating them. So we're basically dominating everyone in all scenarios if we get to a minimum of 3 out of 10. Obviously, higher is better. We also know that Boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible Boudoir photographer, a VBP. So this is our micro universe here. Got a disappearing boudoir photographer with BSS, boudoir search sameness. It's caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. That's fine. We now have the solution S cubed methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. All right, now my results utilizing S cubed methodology. I wanted to dominate Google page 1 for this keyword, BLCS boudoir. So I use SQ methodology to see my results. Organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search in only 10 days. So if people searching this keyword, who are they clicking on? Obviously me. All right, now into the main event here. We're going to see this boudoir photography business if they got BSS for either their local search of Naperville, Illinois, or their city search of Chicago, Illinois. So all right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got cooking. So we're in Naperville first. So boom, we got one. We got 1 slot. Boom, we got 2 slots. All right, nice. So for local search, we do not have BSS boudoir search sameness. We got 2 out of 10 slots, but we did not meet the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google. Next, let's go look at city search Chicago. Super competitive here. So let's see. All right, we want to see how many slots we got here. All right, we actually got 0 out of 10 slots for the city search. I mean, Chicago's super competitive, so no surprises there. So no BSS for local, yes BSS for city search, but for both local and city search, we did not meet the GBC recommended of 3 out of 10 slots in Google page 1 search. So if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer and you want to, so you've done the local searches, you've done your city search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city. You're seeing you got 0 slots page 1 on Google, either one or both of them, or you're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google for one or both of them. And you've accepted the belief, the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief, and you understand now that we can actually take as many page 1 slots on Google search as we want, and you see an S cubed methodology is the only way, the only path for you to get you there, and you've been waiting for something like S cubed methodology for a while, and you're liking the initial benefits, more slots page 1 on Google, and you really like competing boudoir photographers off page 1 on Google, making them invisible to practically 80% of Google searches. You really like that one. Those initial benefits, sure. You understand the market saturation, yeah. New gear, new peeps, boudoir photographers entering all the time, getting more and more difficult over all the time. And you're seeing that you're actually looking ahead and you're seeing AI taking more and more people's jobs. And the last time that happened with COVID, people losing jobs, well, people still had to earn money. So they were actually forced to become boudoir photographers because, everyone's got a superpowered smartphone with a superpowered camera. So kind of the next natural thing, become boudoir photographer. And you're seeing that's going to happen in a much bigger wave over the, as AI takes more and more people's jobs. So not only do you need these slots on Google, you actually need like so many backup links that Google wants to rank on page 1 for you, but there's not enough room, so they're ranking you page 2, 3, and 4. Like basically you need to fortify your positions on page 1 with like so many backup links that no current competing boudoir photographer ever has any chance to rank on page 1, nor any future competing boudoir photographer who came in because AI took their job can ever have a chance of ranking on page 1. and kind of like fortifying your position, kind of like fortifying the levees down in Nolens, Louisiana, the lowest, because the city is actually below sea level. And you're seeing SQ methodology is the only thing that can help you fortify your position with so many backup links that are needed. You're also understanding that the SQ methodology, we're building up basically invisible thematic keyword columns around, kind of attached to your brand name, business name, website name, social handles names, kind of like this whole, keyword cluster ecosystem in the back end of AI Mindshare. And every day we successfully execute SQ methodology and add to those invisible thematic keyword columns that we're actually increasing the probability we show up here in AI overview, the most premium placement out there that we cannot pay for, and Google can recommend us here. We're also increasing the probability every single day of executing SQ methodology that AI search recommends us. So it's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Increased probability showing up in those searches every single day. We successfully execute SQ methodology. And last time I searched for boudoir photographer in a city, it was with ChatGPT, and it displayed 3. And I went and manually searched on Google and Facebook, and dude, there were like 60. So you're saying, and I was like, man, we gotta get part of these slots any way possible. So you're actually wanting to all those feature benefits as well as estimated 8x faster growing a brand, a large well-known brand, to further insulate yourself from market saturation. And you also understand that my current plan is to work with only one boudoir photographer per city. And as a result, you're seeing you can get all these benefits, and most importantly, build up so much kind of like back-end AI mindshare momentum with all these invisible thematic keyword columns attached to your brand and AI mindshare space, that you are able to build up a gap so large that basically no current competing boudoir photographer can ever reach you, nor any future competing boudoir photographer coming from AI, because AI took their job, can ever catch you. So you decide to be a first mover in your city. Take advantage of this because the converse, whoever a competing boudoir photographer actually signs on with me first in your same city, means we're going to be kicking you off page 1, maybe even page 2. You'll be resigned to page 3 or deeper. And we'll be fortifying them on page 1, so your chance of getting back up page 1 will be close to 0. And the boudoir photographers come from AI taking their jobs, their normal jobs, and they have become boudoir photographers. That's always going to keep increasing, so it may push you off deeper into further and further pages. And we'll actually be building up a massive gap of AI mindshare, back-end AI mindshare with all these invisible thematic keyword columns that will probably be too large for you to overcome. And for you to overcome that, you'd have to actually rederive SQ methodology by yourself. Well, you'd have to derive it the first time, and you would never feel 100% confident you've derived it correctly the first time. Then you'd have to execute it every single day, same as us. But if you did all that, you'd simply be maintaining the gap, me and your competitor, that large gap, me and your competitor would have already built up against you. So in order to close that gap and kind of pull that invisible thematic keyword column back-end AI mindshare towards you away from us, you'd probably have to double or triple our execution every single day. And it'll be difficult to put in that effort because, again, you're not going to feel 100% confident you've even derived the methodology correctly in the first place. And dude, who even has 80 days to do or 80 hours in a day to do all this stuff? So you're seeing all that and you're like, screw this. I'm actually going to be the first mover in my city, get the advantage, and lock out all my competitors from using this technology. So if that's you, shoot us a DM. Our DMs are currently closed. The hospital's not currently accepting new patients. But when our DMs do open, then shoot us a DM and we'll see if you qualify for utilizing S cubed methodology.